Good morning, traders. Welcome to your 7-minute market update utilizing technical analysis to predict direction based on human emotion. Today is April 28th, 2013. Lots to talk about, so let's get started. As always, thank you very much for liking these videos and taking the time out of your day to watch them. It does make a big difference in regards to me actually making these videos. Again, we do have a Facebook page at 7-minute market. Just look for us and hit the like button so you can get intra-week Facebook updates. I wasn't able to do too many this week, but that's because there wasn't really much to talk about. And in any case, let's just get right into the charts here. So for you, those of you who don't want to watch the whole thing, um, and hear me rant and stuff like that, I'm just gonna give you a quick update of what I see. On the daily chart, what I see is a low and a lower low. What I also see is a high, and this could potentially be the start of a lower high. And what does that mean? That means that will literally, on a technical basis, indicate a trend change. Now, when I say trend change, I don't mean that it's going to happen. I mean that there's a possibility that the trend will start changing, at least on the daily chart. And that simply means that we should start seeing more downside. But obviously, with all the federal manipulation and the bank manipulation and stuff like that, this could still head higher. One way, or one thing that I'm going to look for, excuse me, is we need 3 days. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is a pivot. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is a pivot. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. This now becomes a pivot. Sorry, this isn't a pivot. This validates the pivot is what I'm. Okay. I need at least 3 days, and this is just my opinion. This is the way I trade, and it seems to work just fine for me so far every single time. Well, 99% of the time. This here has this pivot here has not been validated until we get 1 to 3 days down, and then now it'll be a validation, and we should see a lower low. If we get another lower low, then that would just simply mean that the trend has changed. So on a technical basis, we get 1, 2, 3. The trend has changed. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It just means on the daily the trend has changed. Let's load the previous drawings in here. Okay, we still have this 157 level to look at. We still have this trend line here that we had in here from a very long time ago. And I said in the previous video, and again now, I talked to you guys about this in a previous video, and let me just take a step back here. Just do a quick rewind. Alright, so after we broke down from this bottom trend line here, we broke down on higher volume, right? What did I say? We needed 1, 2, 3 after the breakdown, right? So I said that we needed one more candle, okay, to validate that if it does go back and retest this trend line here, then a reshort would be applicable. I guess you could say it that way. But we didn't get that extra candle. And that's why I have these rules, so I don't fall into traps like these where we just broke right through this retest of this bottom trend line, and now we're just right now, as of Friday, we came right into the bottom trend line, which used to be resistance and now is support, and then we could potentially see price rising next week. Okay, so that's why I keep my rules. But at the same note, on the same note, you could have shorted here, as I posted this on Facebook, saying that if you wanted to short it here, that's a possibility. The risk is obviously going to be higher, and any close above, you would stop out. So you would have entered at 157, and then you would have stopped out at 157.78, giving you a very small loss. Okay, and then of course she went higher. Now you could have shorted here, or I could have shorted here. This is a nice reversal candle, but it's not on volume. Okay, the volume was higher on Friday than it was on Thursday, but it wasn't higher on Monday and Tuesday. Remember, it's got to be higher. The way I trade, the volume has to be higher than the past 3 previous days. So if we had closed around here on Friday, then this would have been on Thursday, sorry, then this would have been a short. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I'm still short. I have not been stopped out break even just yet, so I'm still in the money. That's because we haven't had any close above here. Around this area here is where I took my short. I'm waiting for a close above one of these two lines over here. I gotta check again where I shorted it. And the reason is because when I short, I actually buy the SDS long. When I short the SPY here. Alright, in last week's video I also said we need to have a breakdown below the 154.10 level, meaning a close below the 154.10, and we didn't get that. What we did get, however, is support right at the 154.10 level, which is, you know, this 154.10 level held up pretty well. And then we just went up, broke right through the 157. So we had resistance here, we broke through the 157. Came down and we broke through the 157 again like it wasn't even there. So do I still trust the 157 level? We can, but I don't think it's going to be a very strong level to trust anymore. Now, what do I think is going to happen next week? Well, we still have earnings. Okay, most of the earnings, the bigger earnings, happened this past week. So we may see a continuation to the downside, but that remains to be seen. Again, we must protect ourselves. I see a lot of people out there saying short the market, short the market, short the market. I don't know if I was the only one, but I was the only one that I know of that said when it comes back into this bottom trend line here, I wouldn't short it again because we didn't get a third candle down here. Okay, rules are rules, and that's why I follow them. Okay, there's people out there as we were going up saying short the market, short the market. We hit here, everybody says short the market, and then we started going higher. And then they're still shorting the market. And then on Friday, now these guys who are saying short the market are now saying go long the market. Well, I wouldn't say go long the market. I should say that they're saying that the market has a potential of being bullish more than they are bearish. That to me, okay, and these are professional traders in my opinion, that, you know, if you're going to trade consistently on a professional level, meaning you trade like it was a business to you, then I would have to say that these guys right now, they're pretty good. Okay, however, they're all saying consistently that this is going to be a bullish market, which is totally 100% fine. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys right now that I am still more bearish than I am bullish, but what I mean by bearish is I'm waiting for a correction to happen. We still haven't gotten that correction. I mean, we all know that we need pullbacks in any market, and in any long run we need corrections, right? And then that just means that the market is healthy. I'm not looking for a market crash. Maybe that'll happen in the next 5 years or so, but right now I'm just looking for a simple correction, and that's where the money's going to be made. Now, whether or not that happens remains to be seen. The market and the trend is up. There's no denying that. We have higher highs and higher lows, and the trend is still going higher. I'm just looking for that correction because I don't see a trend continuing this way for this long. Okay, especially in the general S&P 500, which is what the SPY follows. Okay. So what am I saying? I'm saying yes, we could still go higher with the manipulation in the market, but I'm also saying that I will be more looking for shorts than I will be looking for longs. And these are the perfect reasons. When I have my rules in place, one person actually told me that maybe I might be too strict in my rules, and I kind of thought about it, and a lot of times I am strict in my rules, and unfortunately I do miss a lot of trades because of it, but it also saves me or keeps me out of trouble from you know, following my rules. So what do I think is going to happen next week? That's the $1,000,000 question, right? To be honest, and I'll be honest, I don't know, but what I am waiting for is 3 more candles down to make this a valid pivot. Once this becomes a valid pivot, then this now becomes a valid trend change in the daily. Now the weekly, as we all know, trumps the daily, right? So let's take a look at the weekly. All right, this is the weekly chart, and looks like we came up, and looks like we're trapped in between the 157 and 154.10, 154.10 level. Okay, but it still looks like a bullish level. There's nothing telling me right now that this thing on the weekly is going to start coming down. It looks bullish to me. I mean, we have still, again, higher highs and higher lows, but interestingly enough, we don't see pivots. You see that? This is just boom, straight up. Okay? This is like this, boom, straight up, but this is much longer of a straight up. Okay, we still have this level here at 165.80 that I'm keeping my eye on, and that is still a possibility. Unlikely, but you know, I said 157 was unlikely and we got there, so the 165.80 is still a possibility. But the weekly shows bullishness and the daily shows a trend change. Okay, so at least for the daily, because I'm a short-term trader, meaning I'm in and out of the market making money as fast as possible, we get 1, 2, so in maybe 2 more days, if we get close below the 157 level, I think I'll be a lot more comfortable with it. And then if we do that, then I can expect hopefully another lower low somewhere around this level here, closing below the 154.10 level, which then would indicate the next stop would be the 149.51. If we start heading higher, because we do and we are above all the moving averages, let me just delete everything here. Okay, we're above the 200, the 50, and the 20 moving average. This guy could easily bounce right off the 50 moving average again. We came close here, we came close here, we actually bounced off the 50, and then we could definitely go back into the 50 moving average once again to bounce higher. But looking at the charts, now that's what I think. Looking at the charts, doing pure technical analysis. 3 more days, 1, 2, 3. So by Wednesday, if we continue down, this indicates a trend change, and therefore the trend is and will be down. Okay, that's not 100%. Nothing is in the market, but pure technical analysis will show that there will be a trend, a change in trend. Okay. All right. So with that said, I'm going to clear all the drawings, and I'm going to take the pivot point from this candle, go straight up, and this is what we get. Pivot point over here, and this could actually be a valid lower trend line, which means we could come down into this trend line before bouncing higher. So that is also a possibility. So whatever you guys decide, again, I gotta follow my rules before I make any trades, and right now that's what I'm looking at and that's what I'm looking for. We're still not out of the boat for earnings seasons yet, but pretty much all the big guys have already released their earnings. Okay. All right, switching to the UUP, which is the US dollar. This is something that I wanted to show you guys that might be a little bit interesting. We all know that the US dollar is inverse to the markets. Dollar is up, markets down. It's that simple. Let's do a quick analysis on the dollar. All right, so right now the dollar is just pretty much, doing this sideways thing. Now this is the weekly chart, so it's a little bit more of a longer term. Okay, I never look at the monthly; it's a little bit too long for me. But the weekly is pretty good. If I draw a trend line from the top of this pivot and we go straight down into this pivot here, it ends up being a possible breakout. Okay, a retest right into the moving averages and the upper trend line. And the reason why we haven't been able to pop up yet is because of this 200 moving average just kind of hovering above it, giving it that much more resistance. However, let me delete this line here. We go straight up. What is this? This is more of a flag type consolidation pattern, giving it the possibility of it breaking up. So if this happens, then the market should be retracing, and we should get some a pretty good pullback. Again, I'm not looking for a market crash. I'm just simply looking for a correction, and every market, it's very healthy for that to happen. Now, we're going to get some resistance here if this does happen. Okay, and that's at the $23 level. The next resistance point will be here, then the following resistance point will be here. Ultimately though, we want to see this gap fill and then the ultimate double top here. I'm going to save these drawings and switch to the daily. Alright, this is the daily chart. This is what we're looking at right now. Resistance here. Okay? Now the funny thing is, the 200 moving average is right below, very different from the weekly obviously. We have two moving averages here. We got to stay above the 200 moving averages here in order for me to believe that we're ever going to get up to here. Okay, so keep that in mind. Right now we closed, let me just zoom in here. Right now we closed below the two moving averages here, which tells me it's a little bit on the weaker side. But there is still that possibility. If we can close above the 200 moving averages here and validate it, I think we'll be in good shape for this guy to be able to head up here. Alright, this is JP Morgan daily chart. We have a nice reversal candle here. Doji. We don't have it on a higher volume than the past 3 days. Unfortunately, I couldn't take this short because of these rules. And then the next day, which was Friday, we created another doji and we're still above the two moving averages. That tells me that it doesn't mean that we're going to continue down. It just means that we have a doji there, and that remains to be seen if this is going to be a pivot or not. Regardless, we went right into a double top and now we're pulling back. The thing about this is we have a high and we have a lower high. Okay, we didn't get much of a lower high here. The high of this was 49.63 and the high of this was 49.60. So technically this is a higher high. Okay, we have a low and then we have a lower low. Okay, so this is JP Morgan, which is the leader of the finance sector, in the finance sector. And when you have weakness in the finance sector, then the markets should follow suit. Okay, sorry if I'm talking a bit slow today. I just woke up and I'm a bit groggy. This is the chart of Apple computers. Now, as good as Apple was, it's still showing a lot of weakness. I've been saying Apple's been weak back here, right? If you guys rewind all the videos, we got resistance at 476.39, comes back right into the 476.39 again, and then has been just falling ever since. Would I continue to short Apple? Not really. I'm waiting to go long Apple. Believe it or not, I think Apple could potentially get around this area here, which is the 355, about 350. I would say it's about 350 is a very nice support level for Apple, and I would consider going long or taking a short-term long trade for Apple if it gets into this area here. Alright, last but not least, I waited gold for I wanted gold to get into the 127 level, never got there. It got right into this gap fill. I took a trade right when it got into the 20 moving average here. It was a nice 142.88 trade. Okay, so I took a trade at the 142.88, a short trade. The reason why I took that trade is because we're right into gap fill, we're right into the 20 moving average, we're right into this mathematical calculation. Intraday, we got a pullback. I got a break-even stop on gold for a short, and now we'll just wait to see if gold stops me out break even or not. And it's just as easy as that. And that's pretty much how I trade. And I think, gee, we're into 19 minutes of this video and I haven't been talking very fast either. But for this week, for the most part, what I talked about in the previous video to this one pretty much remains the same. And until things dramatically change, the videos will probably stay this short. If there's anything that you guys want me to look at, please let me know. If I missed anything that you guys wanted me to make a video on, please let me know, and I'll see if I can do it intra-week. If not, I'll be posting screenshots and updates on the Facebook page. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much for watching these videos. Good luck to you all next week. God bless, and I hope to see you in the next video.